Thank you as always for joining us on the Constitution. Today, like every other day, we're taking a look at such political issues of our time that has to do with taking a critical look and analysis on some of these topical issues of concern. These and more will come your way after this break. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Obafemi Craig, welcoming you on board today's edition of the program, The Constitution. We'll be back in a minute. A new interactive television program by the International Center for Tax Research and Development is to help educate Nigerians and create an awareness on socio-economic and political issues for a new order in promoting good governance, growth and development for Nigeria. This is our focus, our mission and collective aspiration on the Constitution. A new television series and an initiative of the International Center for Tax Research and Development on Lagos Weekend Television every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on DSTV Channel 256, GoTV Channel 90, Star Times Channel 118 and Concert on Channel 950. Do join us.
My dear countrymen and women, compliments of the season. It is indeed with heavy heart as a Nigerian that I am making this announcement. Another election year is approaching. We have about 91 political parties registered. We cannot afford to vote for corruption, insecurity, and lack of accountability. We have the right to change our country. Nobody else can love us more than we love ourselves. Deepening democracy in Nigeria is our responsibility, not that of foreign countries who are investing trillions of naira in our election. We will pay back in manifold. Section 6, subsection 6C of the 1999 Constitution is alien to democracy, but an ingredient of dictatorship. Please, reject today Section 6, subsection 6C of the 1999 Constitution by sending a note to your representative in your constituency, your representative in the Senate, your representative in the House of Representatives and State House of Assembly to expunge that section, section 6, subsection 6C from our Constitution before 2019 election. That section says that we have no right to challenge the government over the spending of our resources. We have no right to tell the government where to spend our money. We are aware that lots of money have been stolen from the treasury. And we know that even now, a lot of money will be stolen for election. It is therefore important that before 2019 election, our representatives expunge that section 6, subsection 6C of the 1999 Constitution as amended. It is our right. Let us talk to our representatives. Let us write a note to them that before 2019 election, we want that section to be expunged. We have the right to know how our money is spent. We have the right to know how our resources are harnessed. Thank you so much, and God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
Nigeria today runs a structured system of democratic government tailored in line with the dictates, the norms, the rules, the principles and fundamentals so culturalized in the political settings, beliefs, customs, tradition and values rooted in the democratic concepts and government like Britain, America and some other countries with long historical growth and political development. can our democratic system of government, our political setting, democratic institutions, and socio-cultural identity as a people be compared with the circumstance, history, the democratic practice, systemic structure of what obtains in Britain, America, and the other countries in question today? Definitely not. With our experience and what plays out daily in our polity and democratic setting as a people, what we see is more of ethnicity, tribalism, nepotism, corruption, godfatherism, democratized dictatorship, security challenges, religionism, poverty, issues of resource control, and a very powerful government at the center at the detriment of the states, the local government, and other democratic components of a federating system of government. It is on record that since independence in 1960, Nigeria has gone through turbulent periods in her political history, not for anything else, but because of differences between political parties, not necessarily because of political ideologies, but the vested interest of the different political parties at one time or the other. This, on the contrary, is a deviation of what the political ideology and systemic democratic government and institutions of what obtains in Britain, America, France, and other developed references of democracy represents, while that of Britain, America, France, and some other countries has to do with the need to protect the interests of the people. The Nigerian context is more of self than the people. The incursion of the military in the political structure of Nigeria, rather than help promote values, virtues, policies, programs, and action plan in addressing the people's need, it instead created and institutionalized the numerous vices of corruption, ethnicity, tribalism, nepotism, insensitivity of peoples-oriented policies and programs that would have helped build and take Nigeria today to greater heights, against the depraved state of Nigerians today in the midst of plenty and blessed with abundant resources as the wealth of a nation called Nigeria. Given this situation and scenario of the Nigerian state, what at best is best to do by the leadership of political governance is to design a workable, functional, and identified democracy that is peculiar to our identity as a people than just borrowing and copying a foreign democratized political structure that is alien to our democratic identity and peculiarity as a people. Constitutionally, Sections 221 to 229 deals extensively with the issue of political parties. Of interest is Section 222, subsection E, wherein political association activities must not be restricted to a particular geographical area, and a subsection F stating that the headquarters of the political association be situated in the Federal Capital Territory. This, by extension, is limiting political associations to only those who have the resources to expand throughout the states of the Federation. Section 224 relates to the aims and objectives of political parties, which should conform with Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Unfortunately, not a single party in Nigeria has concentrated on the details of the Chapter 2 of the Constitution since 1999. In which case, stating and indicating over time that political parties have always come with party agenda which do not take into consideration or applicably apply the Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution to the details. On the finances of political parties, as stated in Section 225 and 226, wherein political parties are to submit to INEC the publication of its statement of assets and liabilities, annual reports, and the investigation by INEC whether proper books of accounts are kept, aside taking cognizance of the fact that political parties are not allowed to hold or possess funds or assets outside Nigeria, nor allowed to retain any money remitted to it from outside Nigeria. Section 225, subsection 4 mandates such monies to be paid to INEC within 21 days of receiving such fund and give information to INEC as demanded. Such observance, as stated and required by the Constitution, is still a mirage that still gives room and a cause for concern against the 2019 forthcoming elections. These and other issues forms the crux of our discourse today on the Constitution. Welcome back and thanks again for joining us. For today we'll be looking at political associations elections and the Constitution against the background of the new political structures that are unfolding in the Nigerian political space. My guest today, first sitting close to me, she's a regular face now on the program, The Constitution. I have Mrs. Morenike Tejuade Babinchin Ashai, the founder and president of the International Center for Tax Research and Development. Once again, I want to say thank you for being there at all times in our discourse on the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
It's always good to have you.
Thank you.
Seated close to her is Titilola Akinlawo. She's a legal practitioner, a senior advocate of Nigeria. She's of the Akinlawo and Ajomo firm, barristers, solicitors, and notaries. This is what they do best in terms of legal practice in Nigeria today. We say a big thank you to you again. This is your second time on the show. Welcome and thank you for being part of today's discourse.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege being here.
Now, let us look at this perspective of political associations, elections, and the Constitution, the way forward for our great country. I'm starting with you. How do we understand first what political associations are supposed to be, what they should constitute, and what they should represent against what we see today in our political equation in the Nigerian state?
Well, political association is supposed to be a group of people that have the same ideals, and for them to be able to prefer or present a candidate to hold political office, to be able to present the ideals and the aims and objectives of that particular association. But we found in Nigeria today, really, do we really have political parties? Do we really have parties that are based on ideologies? I would certainly say no, because when we look at the associations that we have today, what is their main ideology? What is it that they want to project? What is their vision? What is their mission? Nobody can decipher. What is
their vision? What is their mission?
Yes. We cannot decipher it. We remember in the days of past, the UPN was like, education is paramount. Everybody must be educated. You know that was the vision of the founders of that association, and they really pushed it and got through with it. Even
it was symbolic with the party.
Very, it was symbolic. Even the days of Action Group, we know that it was education and economy, and they went on to project
a vibrant economy.
That is it. But these days, everybody, I think, what we're looking at is an association or a group of people that wants to corner the resources of the country and keep it to their own corner, to the detriment of the general populace.
I think from what you've said, my concern here is when we look at, since we copy or we follow what is supposed to be the ideals of the civilized clime, the UK, the US, the France, my understanding of their own historical association has to do with a cause for the people, a cause that reflects people's will and, of course, what people should get, not contrary to what we are saying today. I don't know if I'm correct.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said that it has
what
to be an
together,
association
yes,
of your own vision or mission. What is it that we want to accomplish? If we look at the way the political parties originated in the US, a group came up and said, enough to slave trade. Another group says, no, we must continue to have the trade. And they started fighting, what was led to the Civil War of 1861 in America, because there were rival parties saying, no, we shouldn't do this. So the other party says, no, we have to do it.
With the people at the center stage of the concern.
You can see that the curse was actually for the people, those that are being used as slaves and those that benefited from the slave trade. You understand? But here, that's the crux of the matter. We really do not have ideologies in our political parties as it were. If we have 91 political parties, come on. We're
Which
not
INEC just registered some now to update.
Yes, the 23 new parties were just registered not too long ago. So we have 91. What are the ideologies of these parties? What are even their names, their symbols, and everything? We don't have them. We do not know those things. We know we have two major political parties. And you know, there was a time in Nigeria that all we did was had two parties.
At one time.
That was legislated.
SDP, NRC.
Yes. It was legislated. It was the law that brought them into force, not that the people came together, people with the same ideals came together and said, this is what we want to push forward. So with that kind of orientation, it's a bit difficult for us in Nigeria to say we really have an association of people with like minds coming together to project a vision with a view to ensure that the populace, the general or the greater populace will benefit from.
But I can see your reaction.
Actually, what we have in the country at the moment, I would not say it is. I wouldn't say it's political association. I can say it is political business association, because people who are forming these political associations are in business. They are investing money. They are not interested in the people. They want to go there, just as she said, corner whatever resources we have to themselves. Be a dictator. All they are asking us to do is, go in there and vote for us. And the Constitution, needs to help us to get out of these political associations, political business associations syndrome. Because so far, we've been having a lot of problems with Boko Haram, that is insecurity. We spend a lot of money on insecurity. We spend 3.5 million on one single person because the government is afraid of that Sakasi.
Exactly. The Shite leader.
3.5 million, that's what the Minister of Information said on feeding him. While we have people who cannot even have one meal a day. So you'll find that our problems are different from that of America. Our problems are different from that of UK. When political association started in UK, it was, the king, Charles IV, and the Catholic priest. So those who are in favor of monarchy, they were there. Those who are not in favor of monarchy, they are there. So you find that they have a cause they were fighting for at that particular period. But what we have in the country now, as political associations, they are working against the Constitution.
And which must be correct.
And because if you look at Section 221 to 229, everything that is supposed to be, reflected in what a political association should be is there. But are we practicing it? We are not. For example, INEC is not totally autonomous. The president hired the chairman of INEC. So you find that someone can still control INEC. There are situations where political parties...
play with who dictates the piper.
Yes, exactly.
Who pays the piper dictates the tune.
For example, we have situations that political parties must declare their assets and liabilities. We are yet to see that in Nigeria. We have situation that is in the Constitution that they must publish their annual reports, showing their income and expenditure, where the money is coming from. If a political party will ask the president to pay nomination fee of
45 million for APC.
45 million for APC. Is it the political association that needs the president or Nigeria? We as Nigerians, we are not selling the ticket. So why should a political party sell the ticket? So that is why I'm saying that they are in business. They are not for the people. They are not for service.
This cuts across all parties.
It cuts across all parties.
Yes, it does. Like the PDP, the nomination form for presidential candidates is 12.5 million. And, as at the last time before they went for the convention in Port Harcourt, I think there were 8 candidates.
That's right.
So, they've made a bundle
of lot of money. And you can imagine how many dollars, because we had that during their primary, dollars was exchanging hands.
It was an issue of
dollars were exchanging hands, and some political, some of the aspirants were actually, doubling. If you put $4,000 down, we say, okay, I will give you $8,000.
So that we can get what we need to get.
Is that the kind of political association we need? Is that the kind of democracy we want? I believe that if you want to become president or you want to serve Nigerians, you don't need to pay 45 million. You don't need to pay 10 million. Now, where is President Buhari supposed to get 45 million? How much is his salary for the past 3.5 years? So is he going to borrow?
Mr. President did say that, look, I cannot afford this. He said
is he going to?
I mean, maybe because of other avenues that was legally also provided.
That is where corruption starts. That is where corruption starts. Because these people that will give the president the money for the ticket,
they want to recoup
they will recoup it in manifold. They will dictate to the president what he has to do. They will remind him that without them he would not have been there. Because this ticket is 45 million. He still has to go around the whole country spending money. You know, and they will spend money even if he does not approve, because it belongs to APC. They will spend money on his behalf and they will tell him that he has to pay. So that is not the kind of democracy we want. We want a democracy that people who really have that, you know, the love for the people, who have that urge to serve, you know, they will come out. We are the one that need, Nigerians are the one that need the president, the governor, the representatives, not the political parties. So it is our representative in the National Assembly that should be able to say this is the amount that we want as a ticket, you know.
Which must be stated or stipulated categorically in the Constitution.
It should be, so that there could be fair play. There's no reason for anybody to be paying 45 million as a ticket, cost of ticket to run as a president.
No, well, that's for the party.
And that's for the party.
You are a senior advocate of Nigeria and a legal practitioner of repute in this regard. How do we equate all of this constitutionally with what democracy or what we are looking at in terms of how it should be like?
Well, for starters, we have to get the people educated. It's about the people. We as the people should rise up to say, this is what we desire. You find out that there are so many people that are capable of acting and doing the work and leading this country out of the bottom that where we are in now. But because they lack the resources, they cannot step up. I mean, for starters, even for a councillor, for you to get a nomination form as a councillor, which is the lowest rank of the political offices in Nigeria today, you need bundles of money. Although the Constitution has stipulated that you should not exceed your election funds, should not exceed 1 million for a councillor. Where exactly do you even expect a councillor to raise 1 million from?
Even when we consider the economic situation,
that is the
where
lowest.
Will how long would that? How far would 1 million go?
It cannot get anywhere. Of course, we know it cannot get anywhere. You'll find out even that councillors are now soliciting funds from various sources, whether clean or unclean, and at the end of the day, they will hold them in the jugular. It's certainly into the economy,
and that is why you find out that whenever government comes back to power, for the next 2 years, they are ransacking the treasury to collect money from everywhere to pay back the loans that they have spent. But how? You know, that's why I'm saying. That's why I said that our situation is different from UK, is different from US, is different from Germany. So we should. I mean, the kind of democracy, the kind of government we need, is a government that can ensure resource control. Is a government that can ensure that poverty is alleviated. Yes. You know. It's a government that can make sure that there is no monopoly in our economy. That is, Nigerians can have access to their own resources. Because
given the abundant resources, yes,
and imagine what is happening now. We are having Nigeria is having election. We have other countries who coming in telling us they want to deepen democracy in Nigeria. Is that their business or our business? And they are coming with large sums of money. And INEC, in its own act, is given the authority to collect the money, funds, from what they call development partners. Why? How much did we pay UK when they were doing their election? How much did we pay US when they were doing their election? Why should they be bothered about? Nobody can love us more than we love ourselves. It's not possible.
Definitely.
So by the time they bring all the trillions of naira, they will take it away in illegal mining. They will take it away in so many invisible transactions, consultancy, and our people will continue to suffer.
So which is coming back to square one of enslavement.
Enslavement.
But that's the position, really.
And that's the position now.
That is actually the position. If we look at the setup, as it were, although the law says even political parties, when you get funds from outside of Nigeria, you are supposed to remit it to INEC. That's what the law says.
Yes.
But really, do we even keep track of
all the accountability of all of this?
Do we get to know when funds coming from outside of Nigeria? We don't know.
UK is bringing £100 million
minus what the EU is also giving us.
EU is giving out. Then another organization in the
this
US.
IRI, Institute of Republican Institutes in the US.
So what does this connote by extension legally, if we have to look at that?
Well,
and constitutionally from your own
it
argument?
means we are not independent. Honestly, we are not. Economically, politically,
it certainly
socially,
would affect our economy.
We are not
independent. That's the foundation. Because these people are putting...
Plus or minus.
Because they are still seeing us as if we are colonized. Because for crying loud, why will anybody give a rich country like Nigeria? We are rich in everything in life. Why would you want, when you're even in England, there are so many poor people who need the money. Why can't they give the money to their people? Why should they come and say they are deepening democracy in Nigeria? They are still seeing us as if we are under them. And it will be wrong.
It's a neo-colonialist approach to our governance here.
The bottom line is that they want to control the economy of Nigeria. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
Because
they have
when
invested,
of course,
they must get return.
Yes.
What would be their interest in putting £100 million into Nigerian elections?
Deepening democracy.
Why? Except that when you put in money, it's an investment. You invest money so that you can recoup your returns. And that is even the way it is with our politicians. You find that I know as a fact that many politicians, when it's politicking time, they sell their assets to be able to fund
their political
vision.
ambitions.
Yes, that's it. That's what they do. And of course, as soon as they get there, the first thing they do is to recoup their money.
And that is why you see that roads were never built. That is why you see we don't have facilities in our universities.
At all.
That is why you see that people are dying every day. And the doctors are telling us, when you are coming to the hospital, please write your will, because you may never go back. So that's because the cost is so colossal. And that is what they will first of all, once they get there, that is what they will first of all retrieve.
Yes, apart from the cost to the political parties, to INEC, to government, I think the problem basically is with us as a people. Because of the high level of poverty in Nigeria, people are ready to sell their soul. I learned, or I read it on social media not too long ago, that a particular political party had been buying the PVCs of people with 10,000 naira in some states in the southwest. That they are buying the PVCs. And why would they do that? Poverty. 10,000 naira may mean the life and death to another person.
You remember when the vice president, when he said it on the television, that he went to Abuja and he saw a woman selling momo, that is cow skin, yes. And he was saying that, how much is this? The woman didn't even answer the VC, the vice president. The woman asked the vice president to look at another woman who is only having 600 naira cow skin to sell. she is having 3,000. So that
That makes sense, she's even
10,000 is
richer.
a lot of money to any Nigerian. And if we have a government that sees that people are so poor, we have a lot of work to do.
So how do we now design a democracy that will fit our own setting? I think that is a question that is a cause for concern. What can we do in this regard?
For me, we should go back to the drawing board. Before the Europeans came to us, we have our own system of administration. You know the kingmakers in Yoruba land. I don't know what goes in Igbo or Hausa, but in Yoruba land, we have something we call Idigi. That is, like now we have 6 zonal geopolitical zones. We will regard that as Idigi. What is English language for Idigi? Stripe. You know.
That's stripe.
Yes.
My Yoruba is not very good, so I'm so happy.
So
the law came in there.
Let us say that, okay, if the president is coming from the southwest, for example, we ask the southwest to produce maybe like 3 or 4 people. Let them vote in that southwest, because democracy is all about understanding and agreement.
And the people
coming
together to reach that agreement and
agreement. That is, once you sit down and you say, this is the road we want to go, and everybody agrees, that is democracy. We don't need to be copying them. The election is costing us a lot of money and even lives. Even some people will go and do rituals because they want to have money to go into politics. And we've been hearing about that. Look at the politician who gave a gang 500,000 and so many people died. In Jibo, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
it resulted to a very ugly, it went berserk.
We cannot continue like that. Let us use our own traditional administrative process. Once we say someone is coming from southwest as one stripe of 6 stripes, the southwesterners will bring maybe 3 people or 4 people, let them do the voting, and then you say, okay, this is the president. Because that is what happens in monarchy. Every ruling house will bring somebody, and everybody in that community or in that region will accept, because that is the system that has been accepted. Even if it is governorship, governors also have zones. So they will now rotate from one ruling house or from one voting house to the other, or ruling house to the other. That will not cost us so much money.
Will that at least curb the excessiveness of what we are presently experiencing in our political structure?
I believe
in terms of godfatherism, resource control challenges, corruption, nepotism, good governance, and all of that, accountability, transparency. Will this be a solution to it?
It's a solution to so many things.
It will start a procedure, a new process.
In what way? How will it do that for us?
Okay. If the people in that community, let's look at it like she had said, in the southwest geopolitical zone, it's a smaller enclave. And the people there will be the ones to appoint or elect out of the 3-4 people presented in that zone. It makes room for accountability. They are closer. They will have to come back home. You know what has been dealt with politicians in recent times, even in that southwest zone, when they come back home and they have not performed, the people will
definitely.
That's it. So
they react to say you didn't do anything for us. So that, I think, will bring the governance closer to the people. And should certainly make for more accountability. And then maybe another thing we may want to look at is independent candidacy. So that it's not all about a political association or political party. If an individual within a community, I mean, you actually find out that it's the community elders that will say,
please, we want you to be our representative.
Exactly.
If they say the leadership traits of an individual within a community, within a setting, it's the people themselves that will now say, we want you to represent us. And in that regard, the money will be eliminated completely because this person has not put himself forward. It's the community that will say, okay, we will sponsor you. You will be our candidate. We will back you.
And that gives room for accountability and through democratic governance as the man.
Because the man will be having behind his mind that I'm sent there by my people.
I'm not there on my own.
I'm not on my own, and I'm not under any godfather, And there will be accountability, there will be transparency, and there will be conscience. Because a lot of politicians now, they don't seem to have conscience. Conscience for the people.
No, they cannot have conscience because they expended a fortune to get to that position. So they're not accountable to the constituents. They're only accountable to their pockets and to their godfathers.
And that is not democratic government.
Certainly not.
Okay, we'll take another quick break and we'll be back in a minute after this time out. We've been looking at the political associations, elections, and the Constitution on the Constitution as a program. We'll be back in a minute after this time out.
Are you worried and concerned about your educational development and interested in building a sound academic education and professional career in accountancy? ACES Institute of Accountancy and Management here offers you an opportunity for a new beginning. At ACES Institute of Accountancy and Management, accounting professional students and secondary school leavers can take advantage of our numerous programs to qualify as professional accountants and specialists in different fields of learning. With our conducive learning environment, competent and experienced professional lecturers to see students through their examinations successfully. Classes for secondary school leavers starts in January 2019, while registration is ongoing for foundation and accountancy programs and other professional examination courses. For inquiries and registration, you can visit our corporate office at Niger House, UAC Building, 11th floor, 3 to 5 Odunlami Street, off Marina, Lagos, or email at icanedu@aces.org. or our website at www.acersim.org or call 0703 086 8455 0817 079 0833.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us. Well, like we did say in the course of our introductory note, we said that we'll be taking a look today at that question, which is a question in a question. That is, can Nigerian youth lead the desired change in our political landscape, taking into consideration that when sometime in May, precisely Thursday, May 31st, 2018, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Nigerian Republic, President Muhammadu Buhari, did pronounce that pronouncement in the signing of the Not Too Young to Run bill. It was jubilation all over the country, where youths cutting across different streets of the society were so glad that at long last, that which started like a plaything became a reality with the signing of the bill by Mr. President of the Not Too Young to Run bill. So for today, we'll be looking at how well the youth can really take advantage of the desired change and if really they can lead in the political equation of the Nigerian state. My guest here today, sitting close to me, is Dumade Samuel Ayomide. He's a final year student of the Faculty of Law, Bowen University. He's a writer, a speaker, and of course, a political enthusiast. It's a great honor to have you. Thank you so very much, young man, having you on the program here today. Well, he's not new. He's been on the show before, and we are so proud of him. And today again, he's here to take a look with us on this same subject matter. It's a great honor to have with us here an on-air personality. He's equally a speaker and also a writer. He's equally a final year student of the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. A great honor to have you again here, Mr. Samuel Ajayi.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you so very much to have you. Well, let me start with you because at least I am conversant with you. Let's look at the issue at stake. When the Not Too Young to Run bill was signed by Mr. President on May 31st, Thursday, May 31st, 2018, it was jubilation all over. And we know that the bill, as sponsored by Tony Nwulu of the House of Representatives and Senator Abdulaziz Nyako of the Senate, it was like, hey, this is what we've been looking for, and here it came. So what is it you have to tell us? What is your understanding? Are you youth, or are we youth readily ready to lead the change, the desired change?
It is often said that there is no fire without a spark. So when the Not Young to Run bill was passed into effect, it is a reality of what the Nigerian youths over time have been longing for. Their preparedness over time is what is being envisaged in that particular bill. So we saying, or we asking if Nigerian youths are ready to take over or are actually ready to step into these shoes. I think the bill is a reality of the fact that yes, we are ready. We have the ability, because currently we have many youths doing so well within and even outside Nigeria.
Competent as well, capable as well,
very, very
energetic,
energetic,
resourced,
even in the global sphere.
That's right.
So Nigerian youths, I believe, have the ability, and yes, we are ready.
I cannot agree less with you in that. Dumade Ayomide, what would you have to say to that? What's your own take on that?
Yeah, my own take on that is that the Not Too Young to Run bill, as I said, just reflected the enthusiasm of the Nigerian youths around the world to take part in political activities. Now, the trend has been that the youths in Nigeria have kind of been marginalized from the political sphere, both in participation, at least being voted for, and in voting. And so the Not Too Young to Run bill just breaks that legal barrier standing between youth and the achievement of their full potentials in political activities. Thank you.
But leaving that as it is, and how ready really are we? It's so easy to say, yes, we are ready. But when we look at it, how many youths are there, or who is even coming out to say that we are ready to go, we want to take the go? It says very clearly, for presidency, the age is now reduced from 40 to 35, for the governorship, 35 to 30, for the Senate, from 35 to 30. So this speaks volumes cutting across. But the question still is, it is good to say that we are ready, but how realistic, how practicable, how applicable is this?
Well, the reality is the challenge is fundamental, and starting from our Constitution. But we see this bill as a corrective order, in that it will come as a corrective form to replace that which we have in our Constitution. So when this is, we'll see that that playing ground which is absent over time is something that is going to be restored. And as a result of this, youths at different levels of the political strata will be given the chances to act as political actors. And it is a trend. It will not just happen as magic. I mean, it is something which over time, the Nigerian entity would catch up with it, and it will not be a new thing or a strange one, as other developed climes have moved on to this level. So we, as Nigerians, gradually will move on with this, and we believe that this bill is a very, very good starting point.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with it fully.
But let's look at it that, look, the politics of the Nigerian state is a different ball game, if you ask me, and you know what I'm saying. Thank God you are both, though you are still young lawyers in the making, but then we all understand how these things work. It's not just as easy as we are talking about. There's a lot of things involved in it. And when you look at all of this permutation, the calculation, the equation in the entire arrangement, you begin to question the reality as to how competent, how well are the Nigerian youth ready to, take all the hog in actualizing this dream that yes, we are now ready to take over. It's not just what we are just talking in a mild manner, to say the least, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, I understand.
It involves a lot of money. The Nigerian politics is about money bags. It has to do with experience. It has to do with years of your understanding of having to be tutored, going through some mentoring of some political godfathers, all of those things. And the youth is just coming to say, hey, I'm here. I can just hijack the train. You're smiling, but that is the reality.
That is the reality.
What will be your reaction to that?
Now, prior to the enactment of the Not Too Young to Run bill, we find that from the former provisions of the Constitution, there were problems that polarized the political scene, that inhibited youth's participation in politics, like the issue of the funding, that you raised, the provisions of the former Constitution, the inherited political apathy, and some other things like the unwillingness to relinquish political position from our aged leaders. But now the young
kept recycling themselves.
Yes. But now the Not Too Young to Run bill has come to pave way for the youth to participate in politics. And when we look at it on the global scale, there are several Nigerian youths, as I said, doing magnificent things globally. This shows that these youths are well prepared. So we are well prepared to take on the mantle of leadership. And when we talk about political participation, we should know that we're not just talking about leadership. We're talking about other political parties. You know when you talk about electioneering, it's not only being voted for, it's about voting. Voting is political participation. When I know I'm going to vote for a youth like me, a capable youth like me, he's going to give me the required impetus to actually go through the voting process and pay my own part, contribute my own quota into the electioneering process. And that's political participation. That is what the Not Too Young to Run bill is envisaging.
I know that if Macron in France can be there, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes, I can.
Okay? But the systemic structure there, the institutions there, the settings there is far, far different from what obtains in our own setting today.
Of course.
I don't know whether you are looking at it from that perspective. Hence my concern, hence my worry, young gentleman.
Okay, as to that, if we take more than a cursory look at it, we find that the nationalists, the early nationalists, which helped us fight for our independence, were youth within the age bracket of at least 25 to 35. They talk about the Nnamdi Azikiwe, the Tafawa Balewa, Ahmadu Bello, Obafemi,
Ernesto Colley, and a lot of them like
they were within the age bracket.
Macaulay,
They were within the age bracket of 25 to 35, and they are youth. Now, if in this our own contemporary dispensation, we have people like Sijibomi Ogundele. He's about the age of 35, and he has been listed in the Forbes list as an entrepreneur. We have Chimamanda Adichie. These are prominent youth that just portray the fact that we are well able to take on the mantle of leadership.
Yeah, I'm not saying, but I'm only trying to look at the demands within our own psyche.
Yeah, but this Obafemi Awolowo and from that time and the Chimamanda Adichie, they still represent
what obtains at that time, the yesteryears, is not what it is today. Did you factor that?
Yeah, I agree with you. The existing structure, in a way, is problematic and sort of complex to want to allow the youth to just have their way. So some things have to be taken away, some things have to be broken down, some things have to be taken out. And in this, we see our constitution as number one focus. It is the ground norm. It is the fundamental dictator for the Nigerian political atmosphere or structure.
When you talk about the constitution in this regard now, what are you looking at? What are your expectations, or what is it already on ground that the constitution has given us to say that we can, like you said, the ground norm, but then we can now readily say, okay, we're good to go. Showore is there now, still clamoring here and there, but you can still see that the entire social factor, the economic factor, the political downplay is still not giving him any, much as he's seemingly seen to be competent, at least outspoken out there. But how ready are the youth is still the question. Can the youth still lead, even though the bill has been passed?
Yeah, taking in view the constitution once
more. I wanted to talk with conviction, except you're already
not at all. Taking up the constitution once more, we see the bill as amending some parts of the constitution. For example,
that's correct.
Section 65, section 106, which fixed the ages for different political seats contested. So, as a recommendation, we believe that the constitution should be open enough to want to accommodate the demands of the youth. And starting from that, we believe some positions, certain positions, political offices, should be mandated to be held by the youth compulsorily. For example, our Minister of Sports and youths in Nigeria. I mean,
Solomon
Dalong is way over 50 years old. In our context, he's not a youth. He's not representing us. He does not know what we want. He's not in our shoes, so he cannot speak for us.
Yes,
so we need a youth. We need a young person who is vibrant, both in age and in all spherical aspects. To be in that angle, for example. So we need the youth to occupy certain strategic positions.
The Constitution should make clear-cut statement about that.
Exactly.
So that we can just latch into that, at least to begin the process of really having the grab to power. Is that what we're saying as a submission?
Yes, as a recommendation.
As a recommendation.
It's like your yes is not affirmative.
It's
because
exactly.
I got signals now that we have just 1 more minute to go.
Yes, and in corroboration to his recommendation, I would recommend that the Constitution make a specification on funding. Now, we know that the bargaining power of our aged counterparts with the youths are not equal. And so in the game of spending, the youths will always play second fiddle. And that's the fact. And then the electionary process and the political process in Nigeria involves a lot of funds and a lot of spending. And so this will kind of magnify the participation of the youth. So I would recommend that the Constitution make specific provision as to funding of at least acquiring forms, both at the partisan level and the representative level. That is when you're representing your political party. And I believe it should be in tandem with the minimum wage if we are to bring the aged and the youth on a level playing ground.
You want to say something? I wouldn't mind if we give you more time, just 2-3 more minutes to wrap it up.
Thank you very much. To further our recommendations, we need the youth to be active at the grassroots level. First thing, as well, which the Constitution is to take care of. Also, the Federal Representative Council, we have no young person representing us at all there. So that as well needs to be taken care of by a Constitution. And the God of it all is that we need a national institution to be in place to harmonize these needs and these demands. It will solely oversee all of our recommendations and ensure the implementation over time. So when we have this in place, we believe that not only are we just speaking in vain, but as well, we have a body which is enabled by law, that is an act of parliament, to entrench and uphold all of these recommendations.
You talk about all of this constitutionally, I agree, and it's good to go. But do you understand the role of political godfatherism in the Nigerian politics? Do you understand the players, the decision makers, and those who are the power brokers and shakers and movers? Do you factor that in your understanding of this political equation that we are talking about when the youths are saying we are ready to go?
Yes. You know, the Not Too Young to Run bill also provides for independent candidacy. That is, a person without a political party. Godfatherism is most prominent in the context of political parties. So when the Not Too Young to Run bill is already in play, and independent candidacy is already in play as well, I think the issue of godfatherism will be subsidized, in as much as the Nigerian political
you mean godfatherism would subside?
Would subside. It's not going to be rocket science that will just eradicate it in one fell swoop.
Oh, I'm happy you admit. So you want to say something to that? So that
well, with regards to that, I think there needs to be a reorientation for we as a nation. It is our future. Please do not joke with it. Godfatherism or whatever. You need to be reoriented there to give space and allow these youths as well. So I believe that
in terms of representation from all levels, from wards, councillorship, even to the state houses of assembly, to governorship, they must key into all of those political structures without any form of coercion, or what do you have to say? Void of any sentimental sentiment.
And we must know that the Not Too Young to Run bill, we are not clamoring for authority over the aged persons. We are just clamoring for an opportunity
that will now give you the wealth of experience you need to gather.
Yes, and so we are going to cooperate, not compete.
Oh, you are going to cooperate.
Yeah, cooperation.
I think I like that.
Cooperation is the law of the jungle, but cooperation is. Competition is the law of the jungle, but cooperation is the law of civilization, and we are going to
cooperate with the elders, the leaders, so they can lead us right, and you can learn from their experience.
Yes, and
your submission in that.
Exactly. So we're not coming to overtake; we're coming to play along.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for having you.
It's been a wonderful time.
Ayomide, thank you so very much.
Yes,
and Samuel Ajayi, thank you so very much. Gentlemen, I know that you represent the values and the future of the voice of the youth in this country. Thank you so much. Well, that's just it for today on the Constitution, taking a look at so many issues and, of course, preferring solutions as to how we can make the difference and make the necessary change that is in the change we are all clamoring about to make Nigeria better for the future generations coming and of even those still serving, so that Nigeria will be placed in the Committee of Nations as one of the best countries in the world to be. We thank you for today. We come your way again sometime next week. Until then, do have a very pleasant day.
No love is all we